In the previous episode, we finally started restoring the Honda CB750. I managed to get off all the fairings and the tank, and I started by looking at the chassis and giving it a thorough inspection. As you guys know, the bike has been in an accident 10 years ago before the previous owner put the bike to rest in his shed. I also spotted some minor defects on the tank itself that I need to take care of later on, but our start was pretty smooth. Hello and welcome in another episode. So today I'll make my way to the garage because we're going to remove the spark plugs and hopefully perform a compression test. So stay tuned. The first thing I did was remove the spark plug covers and set them aside. I then used some penetrating oil and let that sink in for an hour before I actually tried to loosen up the spark plugs themselves. I also advise you to use pressurized air before you start the job. You don't want any kind of dirt or stones falling inside of the engine as soon as you start working and loosening up those spark plugs. So after loosening them up a little bit, as you can just see right now, I used pressurized air once again for a second time because there could be some kind of dirt or sand in between, and I don't want that to fall down either. After doing that, and I'm pretty certain there's no more dirt, I removed the spark plugs fully. I basically did the same on the other side, so I used some penetrating oil and pressurized air. I then loosened the spark plugs a little bit, used some pressurized air around them to remove any remaining dirt, and then screwed them out fully. So I took out all the spark plugs, and as you can see, I numbered all of them. And now I can check the bottom side and basically check what the health of the engine is by looking firstly at the spark plugs. So the bottom side tells you a lot, and I will show you. So NGK has this beautiful document online. I printed it out to leave in my garage, but it says how do I read a spark plug. So it basically has all the different readings for your spark plug and what could be an issue if you have a funny looking one like this one or whatever. So my spark plugs, as you guys saw, were just normal. Some of them were like blackish brown, but that's normal when they get used these colors a little, and it's nothing to be too concerned about. It's just normal usage. But we had one cylinder that basically looked wet and black, which they call dry and wet fouling. Now I don't worry about that too much. As I said to you guys, the bike has been standing still for quite a while. I don't know if the corpse, if anything got changed, maybe there's dirt inside it, maybe the previous owner put oil in or did some tests. I really don't know, so I'm not gonna bother about it too much right now. There's only one more job I want to do today, and that is to put in some engine oil on top of the pistons. It's a really good practice to do this whenever an engine stood still for many years, because there could be corrosion building in on top. You never know in what kind of condition they stored the bike. So they told me to put in a good chunk of engine oil, which basically smears the piston rings and the cylinder walls before you start moving the engine around once again. I did this on all 4 cylinders, and I also put in some WD-40 anti-corrosion and let it sit for the night. I'll take another look tomorrow morning. So we're the next day. As you can see, I got my haircut as well. Either way, the bike has been standing still with some oil on top of the cylinders. Everything got so a little bit of liquid. So whenever we're doing the compression test, I won't be damaging the piston rings. I will be putting the bike in 6th gear now. I will be turning the rear wheel so that the pistons will move and that basically liquid gets spread all over. After that, I will attach the battery and then we can start the compression test and see if the values of the compression test give us any clue to the health of the engine. As you probably saw earlier, the spark plugs as well are showing us an indication of fouling, which means the engine might be running too rich or there may be some kind of low compression issue. The compression test will tell us what's wrong or if everything is okay. It is a Honda after all, so I'm not expecting too much things, honestly. The bike only ran 20,000 kilometers, so I would be surprised if there's anything big which is not okay, but time will tell. Let's go. Okay, let's see guys if this works out or if it doesn't move. I have no idea. I have never done this before. Up. Oh. So there is movement. That's good. Okay, so I put in a little bit more of WD-40 just for some smoother surfaces, and then we'll see if the bike continues to turn, and it seems it does. Yeah, that's awesome. Now we're going to attach the battery and then we will start the compression test.
A few moments later.
So basically the battery should be put in here, and this is one of the two connections, but I don't know if you can see, I cannot find the second one. So this is the black one. I assume normally this is the mass, and the red one, you see some red wires here, but these are not for the battery. The red one is gone. There might be something else. This might be the red one, which is basically not the mass, and it could be that maybe this is the mass. I don't know, because I see that there used to be a cable right there and the support right here. So I will have to check how to connect the battery because I have no idea. Let me show you the other side. On the other side you can see as well there is a loose relay, yeah, but there is no connector for the battery. So I'm going to look if that's the ground. So I'm going to check if this cable is the ground cable. It should be connected to the chassis. If it's not, then this comes out of the engine, and it's basically connected to the starter, I think. Because this is not with a Kickstarter, this is an electronic starter, so this might be for the starter, and then I just need to put the cable to the mass to test it. So let's find out. I'll get back to you guys as soon as I figured it out.
2 hours later.
As you can see, the battery is hooked. So the black wire was indeed the ground wire. It's connected towards the engine right there. And there was a wire missing. So I took a look at the service manual, and this is basically where the main fuse is. This is the wiring coming all the way from the engine from the starter. So this is basically the red, let's say, connection of the battery. So I had to hook up a new cable. I will show you again. I had to hook up a new cable, and I had to go to the store. So I bought a new cable. It's also black, but it doesn't matter because it's temporary. I will be replacing this one with this one later on, and I will be making a new wire once again because the new battery doesn't fit in with both connections. The ground connection doesn't fit all the way because the connections are on the left side, and with the old battery I assume they were on the right side. So the cable is too short to mount the battery, so I made this beautiful testing situation. But the good news is, guys, there is light. So that's amazing. The thing we will be able to do right now is I have to secure this a little bit better so that the battery doesn't fall and break something. And then we can hook up the compression and do the testing. We can finally start the pressure test. Let's see if the cylinders are still good or if there is low compression or any other issue I come across. I have no idea, so let's finally get going after the delays we had. Let's go! I'm going to do the first test, putting on the engine, and then I'm gonna let the starter go over and see how much PSI of how much bar the first cylinder gets. Very important, do not forget to twist open the throttle fully, because otherwise you get lower readings because the carbs are closed. Now we have full weight going forward, so that's best. Let's see what we get. Number one, which is the cleanest. Okay. I've got a reading of 150 and 160, but I'm losing, I think it's not tight enough. I'm losing air through the bottom. Okay, so after testing the first one, I lose compression and I think there's something leaking. So I'm gonna try and put on the connection once again, this connection, which is fitted inside for the spark plug. Maybe this hasn't been tightened too well and there might be a little gap. I'm also gonna put some Teflon on here so that it closes better and hopefully it seals, but it looks promising. The first reading already gave above 150, so that's pretty okay for now. Okay guys, I tightened this better and also this because there was a small leak. So let's try again. The gauge cannot move back. So that's first things first. Keeps losing compression. I have no idea if that is an issue or something else. Okay guys, I'm gonna try and see if it is cylinder 4. If I have the same issue, then there's probably something wrong with how I connect it. I put some Teflon because I noticed there was some oil in the threads, so I think this might be leaking. So let's see what we get. Let's try another cylinder just to be certain and see what we get this time. I'm taking the outer side because these are the most easy. As you can see, I do not have a lot of room to do these things, so in order to tighten it well enough, because I cannot reach it with my hand, I'm actually using these kind of scissors, which are very handy already because they are for tight spaces. This is the best I can do it. So let's check again. All right, let's see if it works this time. I'm gonna lay it here because I have to use the throttle. Let's have a look, see. Okay. It's also like 160 and it goes down. So the compression test is leaking air. That could be many things, but there is something different that I spotted yesterday. As you can see, I'm wearing a new shirt. I had to do some research online and let me show you what I discovered. So I'm not certain if you're able to see it, but yesterday I wanted to stop working and do some research online. And basically, normally what I do is I don't want to leave these spark plug holes uncovered because dirt can go inside. So I wanted to screw the spark plugs back in, and I did that with this one easily. I will show you. You can easily do it. Just put it on and then just screw it in, and it goes with the hands easy. But with this one, it got stuck as soon as I did half a twist. And I noticed that while I was inspecting the thread, that the thread is damaged. So cylinder 1 has thread damage. I need to repair it. I see some shavings inside of the piston as well, on top of the piston rather, and the spark plug doesn't fit anymore. So guys, I have to fix it. It's a big challenge, but that's just how restoration projects go. So stay tuned, subscribe and like. And in the next episode, you'll probably see me solving this issue. I do not know how to do it right now, but it's not like rocket science. I'll be able to do it. So take care, and until the next time.